We'll give it a second because I know people aren't waiting. Like 30 seconds.
This page, she had to be.
She's gonna hop on. Yeah, she's gonna watch another room. Oh, we got one viewer. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever Logical Nonsense podcast, Jeopardy. Excited to have these guests on. Excited to see who's going to take home the first ever crown of Sports Jeopardy. We're all here. We're waiting anxiously. I know they've all prepared all day, looking at sports trivia, looking at the latest knowledge. Seth is shaking his head. He says no. But to start the pod, we will be starting with Sports Jeopardy. The second half of the pod, I will be doing a little segment on the evolution of hip-hop, going through the different decades, some of the pioneers, some of the people who really put hip-hop, advanced it, as well as some of the major songs that really changed the landscape of hip-hop. So make sure you stay tuned after Jeopardy is over. I was explaining to the boys before how this is going to work. So to start off, I will pick somebody randomly to pick the category. They will pick a category and the number. Once that's picked, then I will read off the questionnaire or whatever you want to call it. And whoever raises their hand first gets the first answer. If they get it wrong, they get minus however many points that question was for. If they get it right, they get that many points for them. At the end, there will be Final Jeopardy, and you can bet as many points as you would like. We already got Armchair Athletes in here. Congrats to Armchair Athletes. They won my last giveaway. Got a nice Vegas Golden Knights t-shirt. I know KP isn't happy about that, but all right. Well, let's hop right into it, boys. Pick a number between 1 and 20. Whoever gets closest, you will go first. All right, KP, what's your number?
13.
Seth.
Let's go with the 7.
Caden.
Go 14.
Liam.
18.
Caden, you were closest. It was 16. So, Caden, here, let me share my screen to show the Jeopardy board. We only have 4 teams because Dodge decided to ditch. Everyone, meme on Dodge in the comments, please. Here is our Jeopardy board. Our 5 categories. We've got nicknames. We've got rules, college alumni, records, and name the player. Caden, you're up first. Okay. Where are you going?
Oh, name the player for 1.
Named the player for 100. All right. Drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in 20. No, sorry. I should have clarified this too. You have to wait until after I'm done with the question. All right. Drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in 2017 with the 10th pick. This quarterback has won 3 Super Bowls. I saw KP first.
Let's go. Who is Patrick Mahomes?
How the hell? Oh. Who is Patrick Mahomes is correct, KP. Since you got the first question right, you get team number 1. All right. 100. Name the players off the board. KP, where are we going?
Let's go name the player for 500.
Name the player for 500. I will say the 500s get very tough. I made them very tough. Drafted in the 5th round by the Miami Dolphins in 2019, this linebacker is a force to be reckoned with. Wow, I've already stumped the crowd here, folks.
Damn, that was a bad idea.
Come on, somebody's got to raise their hands. Somebody's got to have some idea.
Limit that we have to hit if 10 seconds, then we I have an idea, but I'm not going to lose 500 points on it.
All right, well, if no one's going to lose points, I will just reveal the answer. Who is Andrew Van Ginkel?
Oh, damn.
Not even close.
All right, nobody gets points there. Playing it smart. I like to see a little bit more risky. This is Jeopardy, goddammit. All right, well, let's go back to KP, since nobody got that one. KP, choose the next one.
Let's go with the softie. Let's go college alumni for 200.
College alumni for 200. The background behind this is where this athlete went to school. This college was the home to Kareem Hunt. Small school, I will give you that. These are random colleges. I will also give you the hint that it is in the MAC conference. Liam.
I'm going to guess what is Central Michigan.
Incorrect, Liam. Minus 200.
Yikes.
KP.
What is Ohio?
KP, also incorrect. Caden, Seth, you have not said a word. You got to have some sort of guess.
I'm going to do it. Who's Bowling Green?
No Bowling Green.
Bowling Green?
Seth, any guesses here?
I ain't losing 200. I'm good.
All right. Where is the University of Toledo?
Oh, my God. I'm up, baby. I'm winning.
Seth is winning. Everybody else has negative points in this Sports Jeopardy. All right. Since Seth was the only one that didn't guess, Seth, pick the next category.
Let me get records for 100, please.
Records for 100. This player holds the record for the most career points ever scored in the NBA. Seth.
LeBron James.
Who is LeCap James?
Daddy, baby.
All right. Seth gets 100 points. He is firmly in the lead. Ooh. Seth, you get a pick again.
Let me get nicknames for 200.
Nicknames for 200. Player who goes by AK-47. Seth.
Let me get who is Austin Reeves.
No. That is minus points for Seth. He is.
Am I tripping?
What? I don't know why it gives you minus 100. You should be at 0, but sorry, bud. All right. Any other guesses here? Liam.
Who is Andrei Kirilenko?
Yes. Good job, Liam. Oh, that was 200. That's why. Okay. Good job, Liam. Liam is now in the lead with 0 points. What an exciting matchup here, folks. I may have made this a little harder than I thought I had. All right, Liam, what's your next category and number?
Let's go rules 300.
Rules 300. This rule is enforced when a player shatters a backboard. It's more simple than you think. Seth.
That team wins.
What?
That team wins the game?
No.
Game over? No. Oh.
Minus 400. Liam.
What is a technical foul?
Correct. Yep. Liam firmly in the lead with 300 points. Liam is killing it. All right, Liam. What is your next category and number?
Let's go records for 200.
200. This rule is enforced when a pitcher executes an unauthorized move on the mound, perceived by the umpire as an attempt to deceive the runners. Caden.
What is a balk?
Yes. Caden, I think you're team 3. Yep. You are now at 0 points. He is in second. Tight race, folks. Still got some people in the negatives. Caden, where are we going?
Going college alumni 3.
College alumni 300. This college was the home to Scottie Pippen. Another small school. It's in the South. Nothing. Silence. KP.
What is Tulane?
No.
Let's take a sound. Up there.
I will say you guys have been choosing like some of the hardest categories. All right, let's give it to the comments. Does comments know the answer to this question before I reveal? Give it a sec. No comments coming in. All right, we will reveal. Scottie Pippen. Where is the University of Central Arkansas?
He is a country boy.
He was a country boy.
I was almost gonna guess Central Alabama or something.
That was close. That would have been close. That would have been close. Played it smart. Didn't lose any points. Knows he's in the lead. It's how Patrick Mahomes plays. All right, let's go. Let's go. We'll go random here. KP, choose a category and a number.
Let's go record for 300.
Records for 300. This player holds the record for the most saves in MLB history. Okay, this one's gonna give it away because I want somebody to get points here. So I'm gonna be watching the screen here. All right. Used to play for the Yankees. Liam.
Mariano Rivera.
Correct. Liam is up to 600 points, sitting firmly in his lead. Sitting firmly in the lead. He's got a Rolls Royce. I'm not giving you a Rolls Royce for winning, by the way, but something. All right.
And we got my hopes up.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Shout out to the listeners here. Appreciate you hopping on, by the way. 100th episode. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Liam, you are up to pick the next category.
Let's go with nicknames for 100.
Nicknames for 100. Oh gosh, I'm scared. Player who goes by MJ. I saw Seth first.
Who is Michael Jordan?
Who is Michael Jordan? I should have messed with you guys and put Michael Jackson. That would have been just hilarious.
Wild cards
Just
in there.
put some random MJ on there. All right, well, let's go to our next category. Seth, where are you going?
Let me get records for 200.
Records for 200. This player holds the record for the most receiving yards in the NFL. Seth.
Who is Jerry Rice?
Correct, and I forgot to give you your points on the other one. Let me see if I can go back. I'm already screwing this up. What did you get again?
Nicknames for 100.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Down to minus 100. Seth is killing the game. As of right now, the leaderboard stands. Liam is firmly in first place with 600 points. Caden second with 0. Seth in third with negative 100. And KP in fourth with negative 400. Seth, you have the category.
Let me get nicknames for 300.
Nicknames for 300 P. Player who goes by Sir. This one kind of surprised me. I will give a hint. He is a TV analyst. Liam.
Who is Sir Charles Barkley?
Correct. Dog. Can I get some barks in the chat? Come on now. All right. Here we go. Liam, where are we going next?
Let's roll with what's the rightmost category again?
Name the player. Can you not see it? Oh,
I just have a
my
thumbnail
face.
in front of it.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's pretty. I know you
No
can
worries.
look at it a little longer.
It's a nice smile.
Let's do name the player for 300.
Drafted by the Hornets, then traded to the Clippers, and now the Thunder. Name this 2024 MVP contender. Seth?
Who is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander?
Correct. Seth. Coming back. Still down
Yeah,
by
baby.
700 points. People are going to have to start firing on these. If you don't start firing, you're never going to come back unless you're waiting for that final Jeopardy. But remember, you can only bet how many points you have. All right. Going to Seth. Where are we going?
Let me get name that player for 200.
Name that player for 200. Originally drafted by the Red Sox, this famous baseball pitcher became well known for his hitting and pitching ability on the Yankees. Caden.
Who is Babe Ruth?
Correct. Caden. Coming back. Tied for second now. We got two 200s. KP still back there. Negative 400.
I don't want to talk about
it. KP does not want to talk about it. All right. Well, Caden, where are we going next?
Going rules for 5.
Rules for 500.
Okay, big dog.
All right. This amount is the fine enforced on players to miss a day of training camp. The standard per day. KP.
It's like $50,000.
Believe that's correct. KP with a big pull. Big pull. Out of nowhere. KP is back in the running. Wow. We might have a comeback in the works, folks. All right, KP, where are we going next?
I don't know if I want to do another 500. Let's go rules for 100. Why not?
Rules for 100. Get it off the board. This rule is enforced when a player throws away a football out of bounds while in the pocket with no receiver nearby. Seth.
What is grounding?
Correct. Seth is now in second place. Liam
It's
is
actually
in third.
intentional grounding.
Technically.
Caden is in third. KP still in last, but he's got positive points now. There's things to be happy about here.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Seth, where are we going?
Records for 500.
Records for 500. This NBA player holds the record for the most consecutive ejections.
It could be like
Liam.
3 people.
I'm gonna go. Who is Rasheed Wallace?
Ooh,
Incorrect,
Oh.
Liam.
Good shot.
Folks, that was huge for the rest of the leaderboard here.
Okay, you want to take the other one that it could
Age
be?
is ruined for you, Seth.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Uh-oh, we
baby.
got bias here. KP.
It was Draymond Green.
Incorrect,
Oh.
KP.
Now
Oh,
we're back.
Okay, do you think it's meta?
fire on it.
No, I ain't fired on it. I ain't never doing that.
I'm honestly surprised it's not Wallace.
It's gotta be
Rodman.
Rodman.
Any final guesses?
Oh,
If not, I will reveal Don Bowen,
Don Boven.
Boven.
Don Boven.
the man
What a
you've never
man.
heard of, but he holds the record, folks. Don Boven. All right, well, nobody got that correct, so Seth, you get to pick again.
Let me get records for 400.
Records for 400. This team holds the NFL record for the most consecutive losses in a row. Seth.
Let me get the Detroit Lions.
Incorrect.
it's, oh, and
Liam.
Who is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
That is correct, folks. That is correct. In the 77 season, they were ass.
I think what 36 consecutive losses.
Yeah, it was quite a lot. It was
Two
kind of
seasons
impressive
almost?
how many losses they had in a row. Now they got Baker. Let's see if they get a win on Sunday. Speaking of which, you guys think they will win on Sunday?
Who they're playing?
I think they can.
They are playing the Commanders.
I'd take them.
We got $2. Caden, where are you going?
going Commanders.
Commanders believes in that Jaden Daniels rookie magic. Seth, where are you going?
I gotta go Bucks.
Bucks. We got $3.
It's okay.
2 Commanders because I'm also going on Jaden Daniels.
I do think there's a rookie QB that will win this weekend, and it's not Jaden Daniels. So,
Uh-oh.
process of elimination.
Is that a little let's ride over there?
Maybe a little bit of a let's ride. I think the Broncos
Let's
can.
ride.
pull it
Can I
off.
get a let's ride in the comments, please? All right. Liam, where are we going?
Let's roll with nicknames for 400.
Nicknames for 400. Player who goes by the Golden Bear. This is not your 3 main sports. I will give you that hint. Considered the greatest of all time in his sport. By some. It is debatable. All right, this is a huge hint because I want somebody to get points. They play golf. KP.
Is it Tiger Woods?
It is not Tiger Woods. KP keeps draining down the hole.
At this point.
All right.
Caden.
Who is Jack Nicholas?
Correct. I figured Caden might get this one. All right. Here we go. Caden, where are we going?
All right. Alumni for 5.
Alumni for 5. This college is the home to Robert Mathis. I don't even remember where he went, if I'm being honest. I don't remember the answer to this. So if you guys fire something at me, I can't tell you if it's right or wrong. You know, let me look it up real quick. Just making sure no hands have gone up.
Screen share real quick.
No. Okay, yeah, I got it. It is in the South region.
Oh,
It is a very small school.
You're picking only small schools for all of
Conference?
Was he even D1?
I don't know. Let me look that up. I want to say it's FCS school.
these. No, fuck no. FCS Southwest. FCS Southwest.
They are in the Southwestern Atlantic Conference.
Ooh.
You've heard of the SEC, folks, but have you heard of the SAC?
The SAC, baby.
Okay, last hint. It does have an A&M in its name.
Fuck. All right. Wildfire. I think, what is Florida A&M?
No.
I knew they were in that.
Bring him down, Hunter. Bring him down. Bring him down.
Alabama A&M.
Correct,
Yeah,
KP
that's the other
with the ball. With a whole lot of hints, KP gets it done. He's still at negative 300. All right, folks. KP, you get the category next. We still have 100 college alumni. I will say this one has given you guys quite a bit of trouble.
What's the daily double?
Let's do college alumni for 100. I feel like this has got to be a.
All right, this college hails the great Josh Jacobs, Tua Tagovailoa, Jerry Jeudy, and many more. KP.
What is the University of Alabama? Roll Tide.
Correct.
Roll that.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, folks. Can I get a Roll Tide in the comments? Don't comment that actually. They didn't make playoffs.
All right.
All right, daily double. I don't know if I can do this. Daily double, folks. Let me think of something. Actually, I'll give you something else. Also, I forgot to play the Jeopardy music, so I feel like I should do that real quick.
Won't you get copyrighted for that?
Yeah, you better get copyrighted.
No, just for like 3 seconds.
I don't know, bro. They'll be. We'll take your house.
All right, KP, I think you're up. Where are you going?
Let's do rules for 400.
Rules for 400. An NBA team must use this amount of timeouts out of their 6. Per half, by the way. It's a really weird rule.
Hey, I was going to say, I didn't even know that was a rule.
It is greater than 3. Seth?
It is 4.
Correct.
Big
Big hit.
Yes,
Big
sir.
win. Back in the running. Let's look at our leaderboard, folks. We got KP in last at negative 200. Liam in first at 800. Caden in third with 100. And Seth in second with 300 points. It is getting down to crunch time, folks. We've got 3 questionnaires left, but huge question here. Daily double. All right, folks, if you get this one correct, you will get double the amount of points. I don't even know how daily double works. I'm going to be honest. You'll just get 500 points. We're going to do it that way, all right? What is the most amount of views I have ever received on any post on the Logical Nonsense podcast?
Do we lose points if we get this wrong?
No. Seth.
186.
Incorrect.
All right.
I will say it is more than that. KP.
Are you talking like on Instagram or on YouTube?
It would be on Instagram.
On Instagram, 4,000.
Incorrect. It is more than 180,000.
180,000.
All right.
Caden.
We'll fire 350,000.
Little too high.
Oh, Liam. Runway's yours.
Over 2.
I'll guess a cool 250,000.
And Liam, bang, bang, bang!
Oh,
I'm checking. I'm fact checking.
Paige guessed 70,000 and then 250. She would have gone right. Paige, honorary member in this Jeopardy today. Thank you for participating. All right. Does anybody remember who got the rules one, or did anybody get the rules
Seth.
one? Seth? All right.
That was
Seth.
yeah.
I gotta go nicknames for 500, please.
Nicknames for 500. This is a toughie, but you do know him. I made it sure that you guys do know him. Player who goes by the Minister of Defense. Liam.
Who is Reggie White?
Bang! With a whopping 1,700 points. Liam with the dagger. All right, folks. I know we're feeling sad here. We still got 800 points to give out. You know, you could still be in the lead. We still got Final Jeopardy. There's so much at play here. Do not give up. Liam, where are we going?
Let's rock with name the player for 400.
Name the player for 400. Drafted by the Jets in 2018 with the 3rd overall pick. This player is making some noise in the NFL. You guys are going to be...
Oh,
KP.
Sam.
no.
Sam Darnold.
It just raised.
For some reason, I thought like Sam Darnold went a little earlier than
Yeah.
2018, and I was like, wait a minute. All right, yeah. College
Not
alumni.
Aaron Rodgers. Thank you, though.
It's Aaron
I
Rodgers.
appreciate that. Aaron Rodgers was
Zach
drafted
Wilson,
in 2005.
He
Aren't
old.
your athletes got it right? You know, they're locked in right now.
Who is Joe?
All right. College alumni. I realize I gotta fucking pick it. Sorry about that. This college was the home to Justin Verlander. It is a Division I team. I believe they are in the Sun Belt Conference. Believe they reside in Virginia. Come on, folks. You guys got to get points, especially Caden and Seth and KP if you want any chance here.
We'll just fire.
All right, last hint,
Yeah,
because I want somebody to get points. Their mascot is the Monarchs.
Oh,
Caden.
who is Old Dominion?
Bang!
That they're D1 in baseball.
All right, folks, we are down to it. Special rules because I make the rules. Liam, you can bet your 1,700, but guess what? So can everybody else now. We're gonna make it an even playing field. Are you ready, folks?
Sounds like a
for
plan.
the final Jeopardy question? Shit, 1 second, I gotta pull it up.
So we have to determine how much we're betting also.
Correct. Put it in the private chat. That's not gonna work. please text me your number that you are betting. Final Jeopardy. Everything's on the line. Everyone can bet 1,700 points. It all comes down to this, folks. Everybody got their answers into me?
Answers. I haven't gotten the question.
All right. Bang. All right, here we go. The question is, what year is officially recognized as the beginning of the modern Olympic Games? The person closest to the year will get the points and take home the crown of the Logical Nonsense podcast, Jeopardy.
Can you repeat the question?
What year is officially recognized as the beginning of the modern Olympic Games?
Are we texting it to
Wait,
you?
are we supposed to write it down?
You can. I don't really care. I was just gonna have you guys each say it out loud, but don't change your answers, please. All right, KP, what is your answer?
1960.
Liam.
I was gonna guess 1924.
Okay, Caden
I was just went with cool 1900.
and Seth.
1980.
A miracle on
And your winner, drum roll, please. Caden Walsh. The year was 1896 when the game started. All right. Thank you, boys, for hopping on. It was a pleasure as always.
Nando's.
It was fun having you boys on. Thank you for coming on. Make sure you're subscribed, you're followed. Boys, it was a blast. Thank you for hopping on to the first ever Sports Jeopardy. We'll have to do this again. All right.
Deuces.
Thank you for having us.
Episode 200.
Yeah, thanks, Larry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Honey, you gotta play a game with Doug.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, folks. For the second half of the podcast, wanted to bring you a little evolution on hip hop. Hip hop today is much different than it was back in 1980s. It started off as a movement in the Bronx, and it was really cool. It was something, the Bronx really went through some economic struggles, and it was something for people to gather. A lot of people moved into the suburbs of New York, and because of that, a lot of businesses closed. So people started throwing parties, block parties in those abandoned buildings. And that's where we got established. Really cool. Some of the first pioneers who were considered DJ Kool Herc, Africa Bombada, and Grandmaster Flash. And it was really kind of a street thing in Bronx to know what hip hop was. You had these DJs remixing and doing all these sorts of different sampling and remixes on different songs. And it became more and more popular to go to these block parties. People started dancing. You started seeing them dress a different way. It was actually, in some cases, ways to get kids off the streets from the gang culture. Gang culture started becoming much more rapidly popular for Bronx and New York. And these block parties were a way for people to kind of come together and take away from the gang culture and the violence and the drugs. And so these DJs really were the pioneers. DJ Kool Herc was one of those guys that was kind of one of those more underground DJs. The first ever mainstream song was Rapper's Delight, who actually featured Grandmaster Flash, one of the first DJs considered one of the most popular DJs in the Bronx. And it was a hit. People loved it. People were dancing. It had a lot of jazz. It had a lot of funk to it and pop. It was something that a lot of people had never heard, especially at the mainstream level. Obviously, in the Bronx, it was huge, but at the mainstream level, not a lot of people had heard music like this. So it was huge to get it on the board. Then we get a song like Planet Rock in 1982, and that continued to influence hip hop at the mainstream level. Moving forward, then we got The Message by Grandmaster Flash, and kind of solidified rap as a genre. People were starting to take hip hop seriously. This is a genre. A lot of people didn't like it. It was so different. It was kind of considered like a rock genre in ways, if you will. And people kind of, either people loved it or people hated it. Moving towards the late 80s, that's when it really started to pick up, or early 80s into the late 80s, it really started to pick up. Technology advanced. You got synthesizers now. You have sample machines. You have drum machines. They become more cheaper. They become more accessible. DJs are able to do more with it. That's when sampling becomes popular. And samples started to really become popular within songs, the way people chopped it up, the way people remixed it. And there was heavy use of different bass, different drum machines within those samples. And it was really cool. We also started to see in the 80s the lyricism advance. A lot of the songs in the 70s were kind of, very upbeat, very, these are parties. So people want that more upbeat, not a whole lot of lyricism. In the 80s, lyricism started to advance. We get people like Melly Mel, Rakim, Chuck D, Warp 9, and it just continues to advance. They start talking about real issues in society. It becomes a form of poetry, a form of self-expression, and it continues to advance. We also start to see the rise of different bands, if you will, or groups, if you will. We start seeing Run DMC, and Run DMC was super pivotal because he collaborated with one of the most popular rock bands, Aerosmith, in I think it's Rock This Way. And that was huge, because you're kind of cross collaborating between two major genres and really put hip hop on the map, and people really started taking it more and more seriously. And a group like Run DMC allowed for other people like Public Enemy to become more popular. Public Enemy was more of an underground group that was super huge. And then you get Beastie Boys, this cross between rap and rock. Again, Tribe Called Quest, more of that funky soul music, but super chill, super solid, and it just continues to advance. We also get guys like LL Cool J, who was super pivotal in making hip hop what it is today. Then we move into the 90s, and one of the biggest things in the 90s that really changed what production sounded like in particular was copyright laws. A lot of people don't know this, but copyright laws is a huge thing that started because of hip hop. Like I said, in the 80s, sample machines were super cheap. They were super accessible. And so samples were being used all the time, but no credit was being given to the original artists. There was no such thing as getting your payment rights. There was, if your song was being sampled, you weren't getting paid for that song being sampled because there was no copyright law to say that. The government didn't love hip hop, especially because it was bringing social issues to the awareness of the public. And so this was kind of their way of getting back at hip hop, bringing in the copyright laws and giving back to the artists who originally made those songs. The good news in copyright laws is we started to hear different DJs' actual authentic sound. Instead of hearing these remixes of different music, we started to hear real production. You're starting to use real instruments to make music, and it was huge in developing different DJ sound. We started hearing trap drums and all these different types of instruments and production styles infused into one. You now kind of went away from more of that jazz or funk or soul instrumentals, and now you're starting to hear more of that hard, heavy hitting rap music that you're used to hearing. Definitely much more in your face. Definitely much more, what you guys know 90s music. It was much different than 80s and 70s. It wasn't that funk feel good music. It was much more real. And we started to hear subgenres of rap into the 90s. That's when you start to get different styles. There's different regional styles. We got West Coast, we got gangster rap, we got Southern rap, and the huge main players were in those. NWA, huge in making what West Coast sound is today and what West Coast sound was then. Rap really was generated in New York, and it really only started to expand slowly. NWA was huge in putting LA on the map and putting the West Coast on the map. The byproduct of that is once Dr. Dre left NWA, he then gets guys like Snoop Dogg. He gets guys like Tupac Shakur with Bad Boy Records, or not Bad Boy Records, Death Row Records, excuse me, Death Row Records. And that now there's this battle between Tupac and Biggie and all these different types of diss tracks. You think about today and you think about Kendrick Lamar versus Drake, one of the huge feuds of this last year. It made headlines, so many different streaming. I mean, it generated $15 million. Diss tracks like those are not happening without Tupac and Biggie Smalls going back at it in the 90s. Diss tracks were huge. It was a huge news. It was just, I would say probably we weren't there. It was just as huge then as it was now. We just now have social media to even blast it even further. And you started getting, artists from different regions. Like I said, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Eazy-E, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, all from the West Coast. But then you have Biggie and Nas and Jay-Z on the East Coast, who are all really establishing that East Coast versus West Coast sound. And it was huge. We also started to continue to see groups form. Outkast from the South, one of the first outside of the West Coast, East Coast battle to establish in this Southern region from Atlanta and really bring Atlanta onto the map for the hip hop scene. We also see Wu-Tang Clan join in. They bring in lyricism. They bring everything. This huge gangster rap kind of feel, heavy hitting. And then we also get a very dynamic artist in Lauryn Hill. There wasn't a ton of women hip hop artists in the game, and she really kind of transitioned from R&B to rap to hip hop so smoothly, and it really put women hip hop artists on the map because people loved her music. She was so talented on so many levels, and that's why she's still considered probably the best female hip hop artist today. Going into the 2000s, gangster rap was still huge, especially towards the late 90s. It was kind of the thing. It was definitely heard all over, especially on the mainstream level. And entering into the 2000s, it was still that way. There was still a lot of mainstream gangster rap on the radio. 50 Cent became huge, a byproduct of Dr. Dre again. Another byproduct of Dr. Dre, Eminem. Eminem was huge because now he's talking about all these crazy thoughts and morals that we've never heard anybody talk about. And it was almost like this shock rap. And a lot of people didn't know how to react to it. There was a lot of controversy on what he was talking about, if it should even be allowed to be played on the radio. We've never talked about that. So that was huge. And he dominated. He dominated the charts. He was huge. Jay-Z became kind of this business figure. Before Jay-Z, we had kind of just thought of them as artists. We didn't really think of them as, businessmen and building a brand. Jay-Z built a brand. He's still considered one of the most successful people, both on the mic, but also off the mic in all of his entrepreneurship. And then, you start to, like I said, with Outkast, you start to see the expansion into other cities in the 2000s. Atlanta was kind of the first other city. Eminem from Detroit, somebody who was not on the map. Now you get Detroit, you get Atlanta. You start to see guys like Nelly in St. Louis. You guys, there's Midwest people coming up, and it's huge. It's huge for hip hop because it just continues to expand and it continues to inspire new artists to come from anywhere. You don't have to be from LA anymore. You don't have to be from New York anymore to be authentic. You can be from pretty much anywhere. And that was huge. You also see somebody like Clips, who was from Virginia, and that was huge. You get guys like Pharrell Williams, Pusha T, who are still making marks, and they're considered one of the best rap groups of all time. Slum Village with Jay Dilla. Jay Dilla's from Detroit. So the expansion into the different city markets was huge for advancing hip hop and inspiring new artists to do what they do. Then you also continue to see the growth of alternative genres with subgenres within rap. We get alternative hip hop. We get more of that. Gangster rap is still huge, but we also get kind of like an alternative rap, if you will, with MF Doom. And then Kanye West comes along, and he's not talking anything about gangster rap at all. He's talking about life. He's making jokes on his albums, and he really changed the game in that sense, because it's not all about that. He also, he brought this braggadocious style, but he wasn't talking about gang life and drugs and violence and money and women. He was talking about just being himself and braggadocious stuff. And his mainstream efforts were heard all around the world. His first album hit mainstream, and a huge moment in hip hop was when Kanye West and 50 Cent released on the same day. Kanye West outsold 50 Cent, and it was kind of showing that it was time to move on from gangster rap and into more of a pop rap or pop hip hop or even a stadium hip hop kind of sound with Graduation. Now we get, because of Kanye West, now we get these artists who kind of blend between R&B to just talking about life experiences in general. It doesn't always have to be about gang and violence. Obviously, they talk about that too. But guys like Kid Cudi, guys like Drake, J. Cole, Lupe Fiasco, B.O.B., they're all talking about everyday life examples. And it was huge for hip hop. It continued to advance the lyricism. It continued to connect listeners who may not have felt connected to hip hop before. Guys like J. Cole, Kid Cudi, Drake, you might not have liked, an Eminem or 50 Cent, or even going back further, an NWA, but they can now connect to some of the life experiences and the hardships that Kid Cudi and J. Cole are talking about in their songs. And it was huge for hip hop. Again, continuing to inspire new listeners from different regions, continuing to connect people to music that speaks to them. And that's the beauty of this evolution of hip hop, is it just continues to evolve to bring more and more listeners into it and more people getting into hip hop, because there's so many subgenres, so many topics, that there's something for everyone. Also in the 2000s, that was huge, is we heard a lot of auto-tune, something we hadn't heard before, which I'm going to put on my auto-tune button for example. So this sounds weird, but you had T-Pain, you had Kanye West try it, you had Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne I haven't talked about. I'm going to take the auto-tune off now. Maybe. All right, auto-tune's off. Lil Wayne was huge. Kanye West, 808 and Heartbreak's an entire album in auto-tune. Black Eyed Peas was using it more of a pop level. So auto-tune becomes a thing, and we see that transition in the 2000s. In the 2000s, trap music becomes huge. Super heavy bass. You have EDM and other sounds, and that kind of transfers into hip-hop and having influence on hip-hop. We get guys like 2 Chainz, Gucci Mane, Juicy J really established what the trap sound was like, what that heavy bass sounded like, and a lot of people were vibing with it. It was club music. It was music you could get down to in a modern sense. The problem with trap was a lot of people thought it was mumble rap. Guys like 21 Savage and Lil Uzi Vert, people were saying this is just mumble rap. This isn't real hip hop. This isn't authentic hip hop that we heard in the 2000s and 90s. But again, that's how it evolves. Just continues and continues to evolve. There was more focus on production and kind of listening to the beat and not necessarily lyricism. So as we saw advances in lyricism, we almost took a step back and we said we wanted production more. Then we get streaming. Streaming was huge because up until this point, pretty much any way you would listen to music is through a CD, through a vinyl record. Now streaming comes into play. And even before streaming, you would buy songs on your iPod. I remember having thousands of songs on my iPod. I don't even know how much money was spent on that iPod because of how many songs I had to purchase just to listen to the music. You had to purchase everything. Streaming comes into play, and you now get free songs based off a subscription, and the royalties that the artists are making are very little. I'm talking pennies on every play. Guys like Chance the Rapper release a digital free album for everyone. That was unheard of in hip hop. Now you're getting music for free. Kanye West went all digital. Drake went all digital. Two of the most polarizing artists in the hip hop game are now releasing digital, and it really changes the game. And that's where we get the SoundCloud era towards the end of the 2000s, which was huge because now you're getting these, again, another subgenre. You can discover anyone. There's all these low-key artists, and you're now getting discovered without ever having a record label. Guys like Lil Uzi Vert, Post Malone. Post Malone is huge, right? He started on SoundCloud. Lil Uzi Vert, 21 Savage. There's so many artists who started on SoundCloud. Another Lil Peep, and XXXTentacion, Ski Master, Slump God, all SoundCloud rappers. And they almost have this kind of sound, this kind of moody emo rap, if you will. This sadness, again, that more of that lo-fi beat. And the production wasn't great, but people were obsessed with that sound that it becomes popular enough for them to get record label deals, for them to get on other streaming sites like Spotify, Apple Music, like today. Going into the 2020s, huge, man. I mean, after the 2010s, the establishment of Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and so many others, and they're talking about real life stuff. Like, they're talking about deep stuff. And, now we're getting guys like Kendrick Lamar who are getting Pulitzer Prizes. They're getting considered at that type of level. That's huge. And so going into the 2020s, it's changed. It's changed a lot. We saw this last year, a huge revival in hip hop, especially with the diss track stuff and the attention. We see how much social media has a play in it. Artists are basically launching their rollouts for albums through social media. It's a huge ploy. And, music videos used to be a big thing within the 2000s and the 1990s. It's not as big anymore. You kind of just post it on YouTube. I think there's still an art to it, but it's still not as big. And we just continue to evolve, get these different subgenres, and that's why I love hip hop, is because it's there is a subgenre for everyone. There's an artist for everyone. I believe that, and I love how far it's come from block parties in Bronx to now being able to listen to it every day and getting to every listener. I want to thank every single one of you for joining today, whether you stayed for just the evolution of hip hop or if you stayed for just the sports Jeopardy. It was an honor to have 100 episodes out into the world. Like I said in my promo video, I remember starting my first podcast and really having no clue what the hell I was doing, but it was fun. I knew it was fun. I knew I was passionate, and I knew I wanted to do this. And I know that I'm not the most educated on sports. I know I'm not the most educated on hip hop, but I do my research. I work very hard to get good content out for you guys. I try to continuously get new ideas out there, and I knew I wanted to interview people. I knew I want to get people's journeys out there and get, people listening to this podcast. So thank you for if you've ever tuned in, if you just tuned in tonight, I really appreciate you. And as always, folks, rant that nonsense and be logical.